Happy to have you back, Greg
Oh,
Ritter.
thank you so
Greg
much.
Ritter Photography. And then we didn't talk much about it on the last podcast, but Greg is also a real estate agent.
I am just recently. I've joined a team at KW Southwest Marketplace #1, and I'm with the Diller Group now.
Nice. What made you decide to partner up with the Diller Group?
Well, mainly the team lead, Diller Schwartz, was one of the primary reasons I wanted to move over. She is one of the leaders at the Market Center. She's just full of information, and it's a way that I can bring a ton of value to clients um, immediately. Right.
Yeah,
So
through
she's
like a
there.
team.
She is ready to go. And it's not just her, it's lots of other team members. We all work together. We've got communication going all day long. And yeah, it's been a great way to leverage the experience of other people to help me as well. And then I do what I can to also be a part of the team and open doors and take leads and assist where I can too.
I like that. One of the things we talk a lot about is the value of a team where we talk about the value not only for real estate agents that are single agents, but also the value to clients, right? So I'm a little surprised that in the sales pitch to buyers, agents, and sellers alike, I think that sometimes as real estate agents or real estate professionals, we forget that our clients don't know everything we know,
Hmm.
or we sometimes assume that they know things that
Sure.
they might not. And one of those that I don't think gets kind of mentioned enough is the value that's associated with a real estate agent that's on a team where, hypothetically, if God forbid something were to happen to you and you couldn't make an appointment, or if you were on vacation or anything along those lines, you have an entire group of professionals that are going to be able to jump right in, and it's going to be like you never left.
Absolutely. The idea that you may have conflicting showings,
Yeah.
and you can rely on a team member to be there and open a door and provide good information, take notes, relay back some feedback after the session, and excuse me, and have that kind of seamless experience for the client.
Yeah. So new team, new you,
Mhm.
doing the real estate. What kind of prompted it? I know that you've been doing real estate agent for quite some time,
Mhm.
kind of doing the photography stuff as well. But it seems like you're really digging in now into the real estate side of things. What kind of prompted that?
Well, I mean, uh, it was time for a change for me. Last year, I focused for the first half of the year on doing apartment leasing, and
Okay.
that was actually was a lot of great experience. It gave me the opportunity to just learn how to do a lot of deals, smaller deals. But like last year, in the first half of the year, I probably did 50 deals. The year before that, I think I did 111
Wow.
deals. So again, small, but knowing how to uh, knowing how to interact with clients and understanding what the terms of each deal are, how to um, how to support every client and have all of those things going at one time. Uh, I think I really learned a lot from that. Now, in the real estate sales part or side of things, it's less transactions, but you still need those skills on how to consistently stay in contact and how to provide the highest level of service.
I've talked to a lot of agents that do a lot of the leasing stuff, and they say
Mhm.
that the main reason for it is obviously to capture the client when they're ready to buy.
Mhm.
And I actually know real estate agencies that is like that's their bread and butter as far as any agent that comes in, starts on the leasing side, really builds, rapport and relationships with the people who are doing the apartment stuff. And I've worked with agents because I always ask, where did you get these clients? Where did it come from? Was it a lead? Is it someone you know in your sphere of influence? I know agents that are making a really good living off of the kind of the legwork and the, time that they put in on these clients that they did leases 12, 24, 36 months ago, and now they're buying, and it's like 90% of their business as far as people buying, not
Sure.
just the leasing side any longer. Um, was what's your experience with that? I mean, what are your thoughts on that?
So for me, of course, you hope that these leads will eventually turn into home buyers. I will say that it's different. What I was doing before was the apartment side of things,
Okay.
and that is a little bit different in terms of how you get paid, because apartments generally are not listed on the MLS, and it's not always clear if you're going to get paid, right? So
Okay.
apartment leasing specialists, and like you said, I know lots of people that make high five, six-figure salaries as apartment locators.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a thing.
oh, for sure. And they, but they know who is going to pay
Pay them.
pay them, right?
So, yeah, let's expand on that, because this is something that I've talked about on the podcast before, but really not in depth. And I find it interesting because it's something I'm seeing more in the last few years with, there's no secret. Things are slower than they were, 4 or 5 years ago. So when you become an apartment leasing specialist, again, to your point, you kind of know the apartment complexes or maybe even the homes that are going to provide you a commission. Are there instances where you end up doing a lease and you don't make any money?
For sure. And occasionally, in the worst of circumstances, you can document that you were the procuring cause and still not get paid.
Mm-hmm.
But generally speaking, if you have a good set of practices, and again, this is one of the things that follows over into the sales side of things, having those good set of practices, right?
Well, and I don't want to gloss over this for the audience. Can you please explain procuring clause? You
The-
said you mentioned it, but
So to be able to prove that you were the person that actually introduced the apartment complex's future tenant to that apartment complex.
Okay.
So if Matt's my client, what I'm going to do before we step on property is I'm going to send what's called a guest card to that property and say, okay, we're going to go to ABC Community. It's got a lovely pool and views. Before I go down, I'm going to contact a leasing agent and say, okay, leasing agent, I'm about to come down there with Matt. Can I get a good email address to send a guest card? And that's going to prove that I was the person that told you about that apartment complex, and that we're going to go down and physically visit. And that's
so getting credit for the deal.
Getting credit for the deal and being certain about it, right? I usually like to take pictures while I was on site, and some of that stuff comes into play in getting paid, and keeping texts and all that sort of stuff. I've had people say, oh, well, they didn't fill your name in when they filled out the application, and then I could go back through and say, well, I was on site. Here's a picture of me and the client, and we had this text message exchange and all of the things. Plus, I did a I did a guest card, and if I can provide all of that, most places would compensate you.
Okay. Do you, one of the things that was interesting is that years and years ago, I needed to lease a space for a short period of time, and it was the first time that I used a real estate agent for apartments. I don't think a lot of people know that it's an option, and I only used this agent because I went and saw a place by myself, and then I connected with her, and she was like, the place didn't work out. And then she was like, well, let me show you some other places. And I was kind of like, okay. She was nice. I was in the business. It was an opportunity to connect with a real estate agent. And I have to say, it is so much nicer and easier to search for an apartment with an agent than it is to just do it on your own. And I just don't think that people are for lack of a better term, educated enough on how that's an option and how just it's worth it.
I agree. The the experience that an agent brings to who's there every day looking at different communities, and they know what's a good deal. To be in contact with someone like that, it's a game changer. Makes all
Well,
the
and
difference.
especially when if you as the person looking for rentals, if you have anything going on in your life, for example, I mean, looking for a place can be very taxing, and having somebody that is ultimately narrowing it down to your point, figuring out what a good deal is, and then saying, hey, at the end of the day, I'm going to show you 3 places. This is your best option. It really took a lot off my plate, and
Mhm.
time is money, and I was very grateful for it. And it was something that I've leased a ton of places, but I've probably rented 3 or 4 places in my lifetime. And at the one time that I used a real estate agent for leasing,
Mhm.
I would never do it any differently again.
Well, it has been the case for years that the agent is compensated by the property property owner,
Yeah.
something like that, and so it doesn't really cost you anything.
Well, that's true.
Mhm.
Yeah, there's nothing out of pocket. Um, Gosh, I mean, I would even consider paying a small fee, even if it wasn't compensation, their compensation from the individual, if I felt like I was getting a really good deal, because it's exhausting looking
Yeah.
for a place.
I think it's pretty much all upside. I've always used apartment locators when looking for an apartment. I've always used real estate agents when looking for a rental home. I I just I've always had a good experience with it. Maybe that's part of why I ended up in this field. I really do believe in the service aspect of things.
Sure, sure. Well, what else do we need to know, Greg? I mean, you've been on before. We talked a
Hmm.
lot about the film stuff. If you want to cover
Hmm.
that, I'd love to. But if
Okay.
you let me know.
Well, I'm still doing photography. I'm still helping agents get homes ready for the MLS, and that's something I still enjoy very much. And then just having the equipment and sort of being into it, it it gives me the opportunity to create some social posts while I'm out there on property. Um, and I wanted to talk a little bit about what I've been doing on Facebook lately and what I'm bringing onto TikTok, which are reviews on taco restaurants. I do them every Tuesday,
Okay,
Taco Tuesday,
love it.
and I'm kind of bringing in a few things that I'm really passionate about. And right before we started talking about this, I understand you are also passionate about about food,
Barbecue.
right? Food. So I'm
I
I'm a
love food.
food guy. I've I've done that I did that for a really long time. I don't know if I mentioned in the last podcast that I was a
Yeah, you did
chef
something colored. Yeah,
chef educator for 20 years,
yeah.
and I enjoyed that a lot. And it's really just sort of a natural thing for me to talk about and to be engaged with. So I just started uh, taking pictures of tacos and posting that on Facebook, and just really it started out as a photography thing, looking at food images, but then it kind of morphed into, well, these taco places are in neighborhoods, and so there is that real estate aspect.
Sure.
And now it's kind of turned into, I give a short review on the tacos at a local taqueria, and then I talk about what home prices are in the neighborhood. The idea is to kind of spark some interest in, first of all, supporting local business, but
Yeah.
also just featuring some neighborhoods in Austin and what is out there for people to do, in the neighborhoods where they're looking for a home.
I love it. Combining your 3 favorite things:
Hmm.
tacos, photography, and real estate.
Hmm.
That's awesome.
It is. And I don't know how many of us just don't even notice them anymore, but there are so many taquerias in this town.
Oh yeah.
We are fortunate to be able to have such access to amazing tacos.
Do you feel
Mhm.
though, and maybe this is just me, Do you feel that maybe because of all of the taco places that we have, it might just be like sensory overload? Because I have a really tough time sometimes going to taquerias because there are so many. And it's like you can only eat so many tacos. So when it comes taco time, I know the ones I like,
Okay.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want to dabble with a taco that isn't going to meet my standards. And
Yeah,
then I'm like, man, I should have gone to this other place.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair. I guess you're talking about your taco time,
Yeah,
and taco time is limited.
it
We
is
can't
limited.
we can't eat tacos always. Although
I mean,
I'm pushing that envelope
I do a pretty
as
darn good
far as I
job.
can. Yeah. So I mean that's really interesting. When I'm looking at it as kind of a research thing, and then also trying to dovetail my business into it.
Yeah.
But for the majority of people, yeah, they're going to have some taco favorites, and it's hard to get them to move away from that. While we're talking about that, what is a taco favorite? Does one come to mind?
I gosh, you putting
You
me
know,
on the spot
I know
here.
you can't always remember the name of them.
Yeah, I've got this. So if I'm doing like authentic Mexican tacos, there's this
Mhm.
place on South Congress that's
Mhm.
fairly close to my house,
Mhm.
and it's one of those spots where it's across the street from the Get Out.
Mhm.
It's a little trailer,
Okay.
and nobody speaks English, and the tacos there. My significant other loves la lengua.
Uh huh. Okay. The
And
tongue.
I'm more of a traditional like barbacoa or El Pastor type of guy.
Those are my two to go. To.
Yeah,
Yep.
but
Mhm.
those are fantastic for like authentic. And then I'm trying to think. There's my like
Is it on the just curious? Is it on the east side of the street?
yes,
And does it have a little like cover out in front of the?
yes. It's
Is it Los Amazonas?
I honestly would be
You
lying
know,
if I told you the actual
honestly,
name.
I think I just went there this morning.
It's really good.
Yeah. All right.
And then that's like my favorite like
Mhm.
Mexican authentic tacos. And then if we're doing kind of like a Tex-Mex, obviously I think I'm going there more for the margaritas to be quite
Mhm.
honest, but I really yeah, I really like Torchy's.
Oh, no
But
shame in that. I love Torchy's.
that's a cliche. I feel like if you're in the Austin area, but good name. I'm
Oh,
trying to
and
think.
really good tacos too, and good
Yeah.
salsa. In fact, Mike, the executive chef that helped develop a lot of that menu there, if not all of it, it started off with him winning salsa competitions,
Yeah.
and a little truck on South First and Elizabeth, and that we see where that has gone. It's an amazing accomplishment from that group of people.
I'm trying to think of where else I go. And again, this goes back to my point. Like I find myself going to the same spots because I know my
Mhm.
spots, and then it's like I don't because I can tell you some of the places I won't tell you because that would be bad publicity. But I mean, I know the places that I don't like,
Okay, all right.
right? Definitely remember those places. But I mean, what are your favorites? I mean, let's do it.
Okay, so first of all, to your point, I don't really talk about places that I don't like,
Sure.
and that's just because I don't see the point in it,
Yeah.
right? So,
Well, and who knows? It could just be you.
and it could be an off day. If there's
Right.
a place that I really want to like, I'll go back a second time,
Hmm.
and maybe they just didn't have salt on the table, and that's all it needed was
Yeah.
a little bit of salt to kind of perk things up.
Yep.
But I don't review places that I don't like. It's just not. I don't think it's helping anybody.
Right.
So that being said, there's a ton of places that are good. Um, I think one of the things that really sparked me to take things to the next level was watching the Taco Mafia thing on PBS.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
I did.
Okay.
I did.
So we started off at Nixta one day, my wife and I, and
Are they here?
Nixta, the Taco Mafia.
Taco
Yeah,
Mafia.
all three of them are here.
I've watched the PBS thing.
Yep, they're here. Oh,
Okay.
do it. Do all three in one go. It's
Okay.
a blast.
It's a cool story.
It is very cool.
And they all help each other out. And
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I think it shows it added another level of just understanding the community that
Yeah.
I was not a part of, and so it was very inspiring to me watching that. So if you haven't seen Taco Mafia, check it out.
Yeah, it's cool.
It's on PBS and it's produced here in Austin. So just it helped me to understand, okay, well, pay attention to the tortilla, which of course makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Of course it makes sense. And being
That's the vessel.
yeah, it is. And I don't want to draw any hate right now, but I'm gonna say something that may be a little bit of a of a hot take. It's similar to sandwich.
Sure.
Okay.
No,
I'm not saying a taco is a sandwich.
No. I
don't wanna make
understand
anybody
exactly what you're
mad.
saying. Where you got I think the same as pizza. The
True.
dough,
An open face sandwich.
super
right.
super important,
Yeah.
right? It's
Yeah. Hot dog also open
it's
face
the
sandwich.
canvas.
I don't want to make people mad in the comments, but I think it's similar to a sandwich in that you've got the vessel, right? You've got the bread product. So I'm always getting corn tortillas everywhere I go because
Okay.
I think that's a point of delineation,
Mhm.
right? So you can either I see that some people will add a little bit of flour, wheat flour to their corn flour. That gives a little bit of gluten structure and helps it to not fall
Yeah.
apart. And that oftentimes you can get away with one tortilla per
Yeah.
per taco. Oftentimes you'll get 2 tortillas because they're very delicate and they're going to break a little bit. But but the reason I bring up the sandwich, I've always said, in all of my culinary dealings, the sandwich is very difficult to do. It's easy to make, difficult to make really well.
Yeah.
And that all has to do with like the structure of the vessel, the bread,
Yep.
right? And then ratios of things. You want enough filling, but not too much.
Yep.
So you can still kind of enjoy it as a single bite. And then you want an appropriate moisture content. A dry taco.
Nobody wants a dry taco.
Nobody wants that.
So come on, the suspense is killing
all right,
me.
so Nixta and Quantos and Discada. Those are the 3 from
The Taco
Taco,
Mafia.
Taco Mafia. I can recommend all of them. They're all very, very good. I would say that they're all 10 out of 10 in their own way.
Yeah.
But it's expensive at Nixta. I mean, it's spendy.
Yeah.
So you could, for 2 people, pretty easily spend $100
on tacos. Yeah.
But it's next level stuff.
Right.
So I'm there for it. I'm fine. I'm fine with that, and an amazing experience. And it's something I'm talking to you about it right now. I mean, it impressed me.
I see the passion.
And then Quantos, also great experience. There's different in where they're located in East Austin. There's different food trucks there. So if you go and somebody doesn't want tacos, there's other options. They also have a hamburger truck. Quantos has their own hamburgers. So that's a good option. And then Discado's probably one of my favorites. They offer one kind of taco. That's it. Nothing else. You want a different taco?
What kind of taco is it?
It is a mixture of meats. So and it's one of those things. It's I don't want to act like I know all about this cooking process, but it is a cooking vessel, a disc, and the meats are kind of cooked over time. One added, and then another added, and another added, and then vegetables, and it all kind of cooks together, and it gets chopped up, put in a taco. And remembering, they have some pickled vegetables and a great salsa, and it's just all right there in a few small bites, and very, very flavorful. Definitely 10 out of 10 there, and good value. Not terribly expensive.
Right.
So I love that. I love that experience. And then lately, I've been a big fan of Taqueria Morales, and it's nearby, nearby the podcast studio on William Cannon.
Okay.
Just by the railroad tracks. There's a
yeah. I've eaten there.
Okay.
It's right in front of Austin Automotive.
Yes, yeah. There's like a Precision.
Yep, Precision and Austin Automotive are right there, and
a convenience store. I really enjoyed that place. The street tacos, you get 6. You can do 3 and 3. I think it's $12, and it comes with pickled vegetables.
Yeah, I've been there.
And then it also has some great grilled jalapenos and onions.
Have you been to the
Mhm.
place? I just thought about it. This is one of my favorite places. Have you been to the place that's between um, Westgate and Man Shack? And there are two taco trucks there. One is El Toro, and then the other one, I can't think of the name of
Okay.
it. But the one that's across the street from it
Mhm.
is all Del Mar tacos.
Okay.
So it's squid,
Okay.
shrimp.
Mhm.
Um, they even do. I believe they are doing like lobster in there, and
Mhm.
it's all street tacos that's done with seafood,
Mhm.
and it is so freaking good.
Okay.
I'm telling you, like mahi.
Mhm.
It's
Okay.
all. There's no like land meat.
Nice. Nice.
um, and you've got to check this place out. I mean, Ina found out about it and she like had to go because they do, in addition to tacos, they do these like stacked tostadas
Okay.
with all, they do one that's like a mixture of,
Mhm.
just like grilled shrimp, grilled squid, mahi on top of like a tostada with like guacamole and everything. And that place is legit.
Well, I am looking forward to trying it.
If you were at Joe's, you went to
Mhm.
the Joe's on Man
Mhm.
Shack,
Right. Mhm.
you drove right past it.
Okay. So also near Joe's is my favorite name for a restaurant, El Secreto de la Abuela.
Something
So
of the grandma.
grandmother's secret, I think.
Okay, grandma's secret.
They make their own. They make their own corn flour blend tortillas.
Is that behind Marino's?
It is on the. It's on the southwest corner, near where the vehicle inspection place is.
Vehicle inspection place. You talking Man Shack and
Manchac and
what is
I
that?
think
Stasny.
it's
Stasny.
Stasny. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right
Yeah.
behind Marino's, that barbecue
Mhm.
spot and everything.
Mhm.
Yeah, there is a view. Okay.
Yep.
I've never been there. But yeah, caddy
Yeah.
corner from there, right
Mhm.
next to Conan's,
Okay. Mhm.
is this place I'm telling you
I will
about.
have to check it out.
You have to check it out. I don't know
Yeah.
anyone else that's doing something like that. I mean, you can always get a fish taco
Mhm.
or maybe a shrimp taco. They exist, but like this place is really only doing that.
Oh, it sounds amazing. And always looking forward to always looking for places that do their own tortillas on site. It's not
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if they're
necessary,
doing that.
but it's appreciated.
Yeah.
Usually those are freestanding restaurants. The trucks
Sure.
obviously don't always have the space to do it.
There's a Mexican restaurant where they have one of those big tortilla, like carousels, if you will,
Mhm.
and they've got these old women that are always doing it. It's on the corner of William Cannon and Man Shack, and I'm trying to think of the name of it. It's something like Garcia's or something like
Mhm.
that. And I love that place has got great Tex-Mex, but they're making
Mhm.
their own tortillas right in front of you.
Love it. Yeah, it makes a big difference. I went to a place yesterday that the name is escaping me at the moment, but they had corn tortillas on the that were made in house, and then they bought dough balls for their flour tortillas. So
Mhm.
they're not making the dough in house, but they're rolling it out and getting a nice little scorched spots on it, little blistered
Right.
pieces. And it's just, they were fantastic. 3 salsas on the table, chips complimentary. You don't see that
Yeah.
all the time anymore. Had lunch for $12. That was a pretty good deal.
We just really nerded out about tacos.
It's I mean, I think it gets people engaged, and it reminds us that we are buying a house
Yeah.
because we want one. I mean, ultimately, that's why
Yeah.
we're buying a house. Also, I think people are really, really interested in what the investment is going to do for them now,
Mhm.
and I encourage people that is a big part of what of how a lot of people build wealth, right?
Yep.
But also we have to live there, and we want there to be some sense of community, and then we want there to be some things to do. In Austin, there's a very good chance that there'll be a taqueria nearby.
Right. I mean, it's one of the rants that I've done quite a few times on this podcast is, we sit and talk about real estate for all the things you just mentioned, the investment side of things, how much are you going to pay? When's a good time to buy? But at the end of the day, I think that, and it's kind of sad, but it's just reality. I sometimes think we forget what really it's all about is, the experiences and memories that are created in homes, you know. Um, I did like a joking rant and I said, I'm done trying to explain to the general public as far as when's a good time to buy or, you know, talk about generational wealth. I said, buy a home for your children, buy a home for your dog, buy a home so you can eat tacos in it with your family.
Exactly.
I mean, that's really what it's about, right? And like I said, it's a shame. I've been actually saying this for about 6 months now. You know, from time to time, we get clients that get stressed. They get frustrated. You know, getting a loan is not exciting. You know, you're basically signing up for debt. And it's my job and my responsibility to try to make the process as painless as I can. And one of the lines that I've been using a lot lately is, you know, when I get somebody who's just really getting over the top stressed out, I have to stop them and I say, hey, you know, listen, you're buying a house. This is exciting. Like
It is.
you need to take a moment and forget about, you know, the fact that we're asking you for bank statements or, you know, the whatever it is that you're stressed about that has nothing to do with the actual part of buying a house. Let's just stop for 1 minute and take a moment to be excited that you're buying a home, you're moving into a new space where you're going to create memories. You know, like we just said, you know, put a fence up. Now your dog's got a yard to run around in. You know, maybe you have children in the future that you're going to raise there. You're going to have grandma over for Christmas, and you're going to eat tacos with your friends, right?
Yep.
And I've been using that more because it really does diffuse about 95% of the people where when you really stop and you say, it's like, I'm being serious right now. Like, I'm not trying to mess with you, Mr. Buyer, but like really take a moment and take in the excitement here because let's face it, you know, even in 2020 when the market was booming for us and rates were low, there was still another layer of stress, which was, am I paying too much for my house?
Right.
And, you know, it's very rare and that I sit at the closing table with a client that I feel like is super truly excited about the purchase that they just made. And I think that's a little bit of a shame because they get caught up in all of the other stuff that's associated with it. But what is cool, and I wish that we could bring this to the closing table, is I do reviews, you know, 6 months, 12 months, 24 months. And when I contact these clients, usually, you know, 6 months, 12 months is my favorite one where all of the, you know, anxiety has been stripped away. They already have a home project going on. And, you know, I'm like, hey, how's everything going with the house? Are you happy? Are you excited? And they're like, oh, it's been so great. And like, we had people over last month or whatever. And I really wish there was a way that I could bring that excitement to the closing table earlier, but we just seem to, you know, we seem to forget about it.
Well, I mean, it's not always easy to get people to be mindful of a kind of a future state. You know, they are where they are right now. But, you know, we can. I think what you're doing is great, reminding them that these are what they're doing right now is going to set them up for a lot of unstressful times going forward. And you know, going back to the apartment locating, that one of the reasons that's a great business is because people have to move a lot because they get their rates, their rental rate changes every year.
Yeah.
And it's not going down. Just newsflash.
Yeah. Well,
it'll go up.
Never goes down.
So so the nice thing about being in a house and having a 30-year fixed mortgage product is that, you know, you can be pretty sure that your monthly expenses will be manageable for the foreseeable future.
Well, and it's, you know, in the life experience of home ownership, the house is the tortilla, right?
Right, and then the family and the love, that's the moisture content.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, for
you
sure.
know, you want to have that. You got to get that tortilla though, because you know what? Renting a house, that's like a store-bought tortilla.
That is not the best tortilla.
No.
It is.
I mean, you can still have your friends over and you can do all the things, but like that tortilla is not going to taste the same as a handmade tortilla on site right there.
You can put it in the oven with a damp towel and try and vivify it in some way, but
it's not the same.
Not the same tortilla.
It's not the same.
It's not.
And people need to be reminded of that. Listen, you're getting your own tortilla here. This is
The best kind.
it's the best kind,
Yeah.
and it's worth the wait.
It is the homemade tortilla.
There you go. I like what you did there.
Yeah.
Pun
see where I
intended.
Meant it. Yeah, for sure.
Anything else you want to cover photography wise, real estate wise?
I will say that I just real quick for other agents that are checking out this pod, that it's becoming really easy to do your own socials now, and there's some products out there that I've been excited about.
Tell me about them.
CapCut, and I used DaVinci Resolve for a long time, which is a
Okay.
big professional editing
Yeah.
product, and it's great, but it's not necessary for what we're doing.
So CapCut is a editing software.
Editing software. It's very simple. You can do it all on your phone. You can do it. I will go to an open house that I'm doing. I'll shoot a run through video. I'll do an overlay of me talking about the property and overlay my image of the walkthrough video and talk about it all within about 30 minutes. So that can happen on site, which is pretty handy. And also a couple other things. There's a bunch of software or apps out there for teleprompter, and it's becoming really easy to get ChatGPT to do a little kind of sketch out a short script about benefits of using cash to buy a home or benefits of using financing to buy a home, and then 75 words on that. Cut, paste it, put it into your teleprompter app, set it up in front of you. And in about 10 minutes, you can have a piece of reasonably good social media that's out there. Just make sure that you're checking the ChatGPT script and that you're giving it a little bit of your personal style.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's the reason the podcast has done so well, in my opinion, is that we bring guests on and we obviously clip stuff off of here. And, it's a lot easier to create content when you're having a conversation with somebody, not only because it's not scripted, but it doesn't feel scripted. Right? Because it's not.
No, it's
and
not.
So when people are watching it, they're like, wow, that was really good footage. And it's like, yeah, that's because it was honest.
Yeah. I think the first time that I was on this podcast, I didn't realize we had started. So it's that real.
That's the plan.
That is the plan.
That is the plan. I want to ask you, because you brought up the social media content and everything along those lines. And, just as a quick recap, even, you identified that you really enjoyed culinary stuff and, took tacos with photography and real estate and really kind of created something that is, kind of the ground level of everything that you're doing through social media. And I can see a lot of people watching this and going, wow, that's really cool that he has those things that he does. But, I don't have those things.
Oh, yeah.
And I think I see and hear a lot of that. And then you start having conversations with people and you identify you actually do have things. So yeah. I kind of want you to walk me through, what your thought process was and how you came up with that, with the intention of maybe helping someone else walk through that same thought process in regards to things they don't even know they're interested in, that they are interested in.
Sure. So, I mean, for me, it happened kind of naturally. I just wanted to show some food pictures, and that was a passion for me. So putting those two things together, and then it developed into, okay, well, I could actually do a little video to hype the fact on Monday that Taco Tuesday is coming out, and now Taco Tuesday is kind of a video thing, and it's just a process that's how I got there. But I think for just anybody who's interested in doing it, what do you like to do? Do you like to buy rocking blazers?
Yeah, thank you. This has been showcased for the first time on the show. Shout out to Mark Sorer with Maestro's Tailor. It's a tailor back in Cleveland, where I'm originally from, and he had me like laser measured years ago. And thank God I haven't really gained any weight.
Nice. All right.
So I call him when I'm ready for something new, whether it's a suit or a blazer, and I say, Mark, I need a new blazer. And he goes, what do you want? And I say, whatever you think is going to be the best. And he just sends them, and I send him a check. And
it's a laser blazer.
It's a laser blazer, yes. But he
That's
does a fantastic job putting things together that
hmm
I feel like aren't over the
hmm
top, but are also flashy enough to get a little attention.
yeah,
So thank you.
sure. Well, and think about it. So you like clothes shopping? Well, maybe your thing is this is
Fashion.
yeah, this fashion. This is where I thrift,
Yeah,
and
that's a
and
good one.
at this particular thrift store, condos start at 275K, and freestanding homes top out at about 2 million.
Yeah.
You know, that gives people a wide range of options, and and you know, it could be, you know, maybe you're into watches, or maybe you're into wine,
That's a good one.
wine stores, cigar stores, anything that you personally are into. What about, you know, meat markets? Where are you getting your what is it? Beef hump?
We're doing a beef hump, which
hmm
again, from what I understand, is very similar to a brisket, but has a marbling of
hmm
something percent that is similar to a wagyu.
Okay.
So we'll be
hmm
doing that. I'm very excited about it. But yeah, we'll give them a plug. Hometown Meats out in Luling.
Okay.
They are doing, everything antibiotic free, all that kind of stuff.
hmm
No hormones, excuse me, not antibiotics. But
hmm
locally owned and locally ran. I really like what they're doing. They're great people, and um, we kind of have made it a thing where we'll stock up, and then when the time comes, we drive into Lockhart. We
hmm
get a little barbecue, and then
as one does.
right, and then 15 minutes south of Lockhart is Hometown Meats. They've got a huge facility, and I buy a bunch of meat.
I'm 20 years in the culinary business, have not bought a half hump
Yeah, well,
ever.
again, I spend a lot of money with them, and I do my very, very best in addition to spending money to know the people and make friends. And so
hmm
when I said, "Hey, I want to barbecue something pretty fancy. What do you guys have?"
hmm
He literally did like I got a beef hump. Do you know what that is? And I'm like, "No." He's like, "Listen, you're going to want this. Go
hmm
online, research about it." He's like, "You do good barbecue?" I'm like, "Yeah, I love doing barbecue. I've gotten pretty good at it." He's like, "I'm going to sell you this. You're going to
Cool.
love it."
Well, we'll
So,
talk offline about barbecue, because I got a
yeah,
thing, and maybe next time we
I'd love
can
that.
do a barbecue discussion, because I have a brisket method that's been working for me for a while
I
now.
want to hear all
Yeah.
about it.
All right.
Awesome. Well, again, Greg, it's always a pleasure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Thank you.
I'm and the one thing I want to commend you on, I've been doing this. We're getting to the point where we're seeing people coming back. We
hmm
do have our regulars. Don't
hmm
get me wrong, but we're seeing people coming back, and I can't tell you how, in my opinion, from a social media standpoint, how important it is. And we'll have everything clipped out. We'll see you next week.
All
And
right.
um, yeah, thank you.
All right. Thanks so much.
Yeah,
My
my
pleasure.
pleasure. Take care.
All right.